Folks, it's officially summer, and while the perfect summer playlist may be elusive, one thing is for sure. It always gets better with the cold Coors Light. On a hot summer day, what better combo is there than a barbecue, good music, and an even better beer? Whether you're at the beach, on the patio, or at a concert, there's no better beer than Coors Light. Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged for a smoother finish. Coors Light is the only choice when you're ready to choose chill. Straight from the Coors Brewing Company in Golden, Colorado. When the mountains turn blue, you're ready to choose chill. So amplify your chill this summer with Coors Light. Choose chill, choose Coors Light. I know I'll be all summer. Make sure you celebrate responsibly. Go to CoorsLight.com/summermusic to see how Coors Light can amplify your summer. And be sure to keep an eye out for Coors Light social handles all summer long for exciting announcements.
Welcome back. All the Smoke coming to you live from the crib in LA, man. We outside, so if you hear some cars passing by or some sirens, just know it's life out here. Man, we were able to track down, I've been trying to track this dude down for like 2-3 years, and he told me, hold on, man, I got a lot of shit coming out. I want to talk about it, and we're finally here, man. We want to welcome one of the most iconic college athletes of all time, my neighbor. We live right down the street. Reggie Bush,
right down
man.
the street. We neighbors. Kids
So
go to school together.
Kids go to the same school.
Yeah, man.
A lot going on right now. This is a really hot time for the NCAA, particularly yourself as well.
Yeah.
Where's your state of mind right now? Because you're not a very outspoken person, but I've been seeing you kind of talk your shit on Instagram a little bit. But so where are you at right now and with all this NCAA stuff and trying to right their wrongs and still haven't righted all their wrongs? Where you stand with it?
I have an open lawsuit right now against the NCAA for defamation of character.
Okay.
So that's what's next for me in regards to the NCAA. We filed the defamation of character lawsuit about a year ago, but it was based on a statement that they made about me saying that I wouldn't be reinstated, which I'm technically still not reinstated right now. So I got my Heisman Trophy back. I'm in the Hall of Fame, but I don't have any stats. So the fight still continues, you know what I'm saying? So we're still working through this thing. But I have the open lawsuit right now against them for defamation of character for a statement that they released about me that was not true, that they also don't have proof of. And today, I got a text this morning from my attorneys that the motion to dismiss that the NCAA filed was denied. So that's obviously a huge ruling in our favor because that's the best they could have hoped for was to get it thrown out of court. And, you know, we expected that too. I expected them to not want to see me, you know what I'm saying? Because they understand and they know they lied. And it's only a matter of time before the truth comes out. And that's ultimately what's happening right now. Literally, as we speak, facts are coming out, the truth is coming out. And it's all bad on the NCAA's part.
You spoke a little bit before we got on air. You have a big documentary, a 6-part documentary. You want to speak to that a little bit and kind of what that will entail?
I don't have a 6-part series
yet,
will be. But it will be, you know, around there, 4, 6, 8, we'll see. But there's so much information that's going to be in this documentary. It's all new information. So it's nothing that anybody knew or thought they knew about my story. You know, there's a lot that was covered up in my story by the NCAA. There was a lot of dirty shit that they did in the media. You know, just releasing little things to damage my character. One of the biggest ones was basically calling me a cheater when I've never cheated a day in my life. And, you know, my definition as an athlete of a cheater is somebody who's taking some kind of performance enhancing drug or trying to somehow directly affect the game in a way in their favor. I've never failed a drug test in my life. You know, so it's just crazy to me that I was somehow labeled a cheater when I never cheated. But it goes to show you the depths of which the NCAA was willing to go to paint me as the bad guy, to make me public enemy number one, and to really cover up what they were truly doing behind the scenes, which was, you know, continuing to exploit athletes.
Obviously, congratulations for getting your Heisman Trophy back, but when you dig a little deeper, it came from the Heisman Trust.
Yeah.
It didn't actually come from the NCAA.
Yep.
Again, you mentioned earlier, you definitely haven't been vindicated. There's no real trace of you in the SC record books. They took your guys' championship away. So how hard and frustrating was it at the time? Because while that stuff was happening, this wasn't really a social media era.
Right.
And again, you're not a very talkative person, so you kind of would just read all this shit and whatever they said went.
Exactly.
So how hard was that for you?
It was very hard because, like you said, you're alluding to, they had a louder microphone at that time than I did. That was the only difference. Their microphone was way louder and much bigger than mine. I have been saying the same thing from day one. From the time, I was a rookie in the NFL and, they were alleging all these things against me. We did nothing wrong. This was all, came from the NCAA and their attempt to take down USC, everything that we stood for, all the success that we had and we created there with my teammates, coaches. They really didn't like that we were flashy as a football team. That bothered them. It also bothered them that we were successful. And we were also right here in LA at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So our team was big. We were one of the biggest, teams in college football history.
And your jersey was everywhere. Now you seen the 5 in LA
everywhere.
Still.
Yeah.
That shit went triple platinum. That shit was everywhere.
And it's unfortunate because, everything all the hard work that we put in on the field, y'all know. When you put that work in on the court, in the locker room, in the weight room, with your teammates, with your dogs, there's nothing that can break that bond, for one. Because that's something that will last forever. And me and my teammates to this day, when I went into the College Football Hall of Fame a few months ago in Las Vegas, a bunch of my teammates showed up and surprised me, which I wasn't expecting. And when I walked through the door, it was like family all over again. You know what I'm saying? It's like a family
you never
reunion.
missed a beat.
It's like, we didn't even miss a beat.
Yep.
Got right back to cracking jokes on each other. You know what I'm saying? Having fun, doing all these different things. And so, that's a brotherhood that we built. And it's unfortunate that this story has kind of overshadowed, the success and what we really was about during that time period, man. So, it was tough for me. But like I said, being labeled a cheater, I think was the toughest part, going through that and also having to go through different stadiums in my career and hearing people chanting cheater, liar, all these different things. And in my head, I couldn't believe it.
NIL has been a huge topic over the last few years, something we all missed out on. Obviously, they're trying to make a little bit of progress, although money is not actually coming from the schools or the NCAA. It's coming from outside resources. What do you still feel like needs to happen to just right this ship? I mean, the NCAA is a billion-dollar institution. Yep. Football is the main driver. Basketball is right behind it. They're making billions atop of billions of dollars thinking that a diploma or something is equal to all the money they're making, which it's not. What do you personally feel, someone who's been through the ringer of the NCAA and still kind of telling your story with that, what do you feel they need to do to start righting their wrongs overall?
Well, I think the first step was NIL, allowing players to make money off their name, image, and likeness, because from day one, you already owned your NIL. It was just that when you got into college football or basketball, now you were stripped of that ability. And so that's what really the Supreme Court ruling was over 9-0, which basically said what you guys are doing is illegal. And now fast forward to literally a week ago, the settlement that the NCAA settled with now players being able to be paid by the universities, by the schools. That was the next biggest hurdle, because now what that means is players will be considered employees. Yep. And so when you're an employee, you can collectively bargain, you can unionize, and you can start to work towards better, work conditions, like any other job that you might have, right? Yeah. Any other place. And so that was the biggest issue, was the players and the kids were not protected.
Right.
And they had no unionization, they had no representation, right? And you think about all the things that's wrapped up in that, right? And it was the players that were being exploited. And also at the same time, the money that we were making was being used to go pay for coaches, facilities, presidents, athletic directors.
New buildings on campus.
Everything. Yeah, when you see a new building, I mean, I'll never forget, seeing the new basketball stadium, go up, around the same time period as when we were winning. I was like, I wonder if we had something to do with that.
Not something, a lot to do. And it was funny too, because there's supposed to be some huge rivalry between SC and UCLA. And there is. I think it's more for the students and the fans. But I was a huge fan of you guys because I was a football guy first. So being able to see you guys right down the street and what you were doing, it was just always so impressive. And like you said, in the city with the Lakers, Clippers weren't that good back then, but USC was it.
Yeah.
UC was the draw. The celebrities were there. Like I said, your jersey was everywhere. Like, you guys really had a stranglehold on the LA in your 3 years at USC.
And we had, I mean, like you said, it's the environment we created on that football field. Like you said, celebrities on the sidelines, you know, stadium packed 93, 94,000.
Rappers rapping about y'all in college.
Yeah, it was, you know, the only thing you can compare that to is the U, right?
Yep.
Because the U was that, they were that team before us.
Yep.
And I never forget, you know, growing up as a young kid wanting to play in college, and I was such a fan of everything that the U was doing. The players, they were flashy, they had swag.
Yep.
They knock your head off,
Yep.
like, you know, just everything about those teams. And you saw some of the celebrities on the sidelines there,
Yep.
and it was like, dang, college football can do this.
You guys are a 2K version of that.
And that's what the NCAA has always been afraid of.
Yep.
Because when you start to have teams that start to separate from the pack, now the NCAA feels like we might lose control,
Yep.
right? And they never want to lose control. They always want to be in control. And so think about those teams. I mean, we were ultra powerful, you know what I'm saying? And we in a good way, obviously. Yep. But again, that's the thing that NCAA has always wanted to guard against, is not allowing the players to understand their true value.
Yep.
And allowing these teams to get too big to where they start to branch off.
Bigger than the program.
Bigger than the program,
Yep.
exactly.
You unleashed something on the NCAA recently on the Instagram post. Jack's going to read it.
Yes, sir.
This is what the NCAA was always afraid of. The power is in the players' hands now, and always been there. They just wanted us to remain ignorant and continue to believe in the lie that your degree is a fair trade. The truth is, college football is big business. Billions are profited of college athletes every year, while the players are given breadcrumbs and left to struggle through their lifelong pain and injuries. I've had former teammates who've committed suicide and injuries sustained in college football. College football is at the top of the food chain. Is it king of the world of college sports, period? The NCAA plus universities, Power Four conferences benefit of college football and basketball and its players through the exploitation of NIL. They have always fought hard to keep players from knowing their true power and value, but times have changed, and people are starting to finally wake up. The power of information is real, and your days are numbered, NCAA, and I will be there to watch you bleed out with my trophy in one hand and the knife in the other.
That's right. Remember who cut you. Remember who cut you. Remember who cut you.
With Jack reading that, that's something that's been inside of you for a long time. Because as we stated previously, earlier in the interview, they've dragged you. They've demeaned you, your family, you know, called you a cheater, a liar, did everything they possibly could, and you've kind of just had to sit back and take it. So to be able to get that out is somewhat vindicating.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And, you know, that's obviously been on my heart for a long time. That came from the heart.
Right.
There were no ghostwriters, nobody that wrote that. I literally wrote that from the heart, you know what I'm saying? And that was before I got my Heisman Trophy back. I always knew I was going to get it back. The same way, when I was in high school, I said I was going to win the Heisman Trophy before I even knew what it would take. Before I even knew the workload that was going to be required to go into it, I just knew I could win that. And the same way that I manifested it into my life the first time is the same way I manifested it right back into my hands the second time. And this is something that has been, like you say, it's been, you know, on my heart for a long time. I've been fighting this thing for 14 years. You know, it's been unfortunate, but, you know, here we are. And everything is happening. Everything. I mean, literally everything is happening the way that I thought it would happen. I knew at some point the facts and the truth would come out. Right. It's just a matter of time. You can only, you know, continue with a lie for so long, right? You can only shout for so long. I mean, the NCAA was ultra powerful back then. You got to understand, they're the almighty. And the issue is they're the judge and the jury. So very different than, you know, when you go to regular court and they have an actual jury that's separate from they are the judge and the jury. So whatever they say goes. Whatever they want to do to you, they'll do to you. And you'll get caught up in this spider web of just, you know, issues in different ways that you have to go back and fight them. One, is going to cost you a lot of money because they got billions of dollars that they make every year. And you know, they can just wait you out, you know, for as long as they want until you either just run out of patience or money. And so my running back coach in 2010 filed a defamation of character lawsuit against him before I did. And my plan was to wait until that case settled. I thought it would take 2 or 3 years. It took him 12 years. They just settled the case a year ago.
He won?
He won. And he won, got paid. They paid him $8 million. And so, but what the NCAA did was they made him sign a non-disclosure agreement so that it would get swept under the rug and nobody would find out. So they've already lost one case in this on this story. And so, now we've seen all these other things happen, all these other dominoes that are falling. And so now,
2024 is the year of truth.
2024, baby.
Man,
year of truth.
Motherfuckers better run and hide.
New college football game coming out.
Yeah.
You was on 2007 cover.
Yeah.
With everything going on now, how big the game is. I can't wait for it to play. They owe you some money, huh?
Yeah, they owe me a lot. You know what I'm saying? They owe me a lot. But how ironic is that? You know what I'm saying? You look on the NCAA, you look on that cover, you see my picture in NCAA over my chest.
Yeah.
How ironic is that? How full circle is that right now?
Right.
Based on what we're talking about, and the exploitation, that the NCAA was able to get away with for so long. And you got to understand, there's this word that they have been able to create, and you see it everywhere. This word student athlete. So this word student athlete, I literally just heard Snoop Dogg say it on his Instagram post talking about the college bowl game that he has. But people don't understand this word student athlete was created out of response to two lawsuits, or two workers' compensation claims. One, they're both football related. The first one, a guy died from football injuries he sustained. And then the second one was a running back from TCU who was paralyzed on the play from the waist down. And the families filed for workers' compensation obviously because, they're trying to take care of the family members and the medical benefits.
Yeah.
They probably couldn't afford it back then. And so the NCAA, being who they are, saw this as an issue for anybody that would come after them to try to file a workers' compensation claim. So this guy, Walter Byers, who worked for the NCAA at this time, created this word student athlete, basically as a legal defense word that they could use in court, and to get away with not being able to play players for injuries sustained in college football. And so when people say student athletes, you're saying student first, athlete second, right? For so long, even though you got a scholarship to go to college to play basketball or football, they still were selling, they still were saying that you come here to be a student first. And the football or basketball you choose to play is an extracurricular activity. So that's why they considered it an amateurism sport, right? And so this word student athlete was created by this guy, Walter Byers, out of response to these two workers' compensation claims, because they knew that anybody else that came after, if there were any other cases that came after them, they would do the same thing. And so this all has been about just exploiting players and exploiting athletes, to the point to where they will create words secretly in plain sight and you don't even know. Every time you say student athlete, that word is
you're hurting the athlete.
Hurting the athletes when you say that.
That's
exactly.
Crazy. I would be remiss without mentioning our brother Ed O'Bannon, man. Shout out Ed O'Bannon.
Shout out to Ed O'Bannon, man.
What he's been able to do and the doors he started opening and the eyeballs and the attention he brought to this only helps everyone else, such as yourself, in this process. Absolutely.
That was the start. And I mean, how many years ago was that? 30. 30 years ago.
Was it 30?
Actual lawsuit?
Yeah.
No, that was not. Sorry, I think that was when he played.
No, it was a long time ago.
Yeah,
20 it might have been 20
something. It might have been like 30 years.
It might have been about 30 years ago.
Yeah.
But and it took us that long to get to where we are now. You know what I'm saying? And that happened 30 years ago. But I mean, that was such a big momentum shift, for players, versus the NCAA. But yeah, man, that was massive. That was huge.
Like Reggie though, he don't talk or
Ed don't speak much. Yeah.
From the video, it was 2009. It happened because he saw the video game. And saw like the players.
Yeah, players being put on these video games and being exploited. And you're not getting anything from the NCAA. Nothing, not a dime.
Them games are good. I mean, there was never a college basketball game, but the football game was always dope.
It was a college basketball game. It was decent. It wasn't good.
Shit, it wasn't a college football game. College football game was dope.
Yeah, always been dope. You, two things. One,
I don't know if you ever heard this, but you were so cold when the movie Boys in the Hood came out.
Yeah.
People thought that was you on that running back scene. Have you ever heard that?
I have heard that a few times, bro. I ain't gonna lie, I heard that a few times.
Like, was that you? Man, check this Reggie Bush when he was in high school. That's how cold you was, bro.
Man, first of all, it's one of my favorite movies, bro.
Yeah, no question.
But yeah, that definitely wasn't me.
We talk about in basketball, the evolution, how the game is growing.
Yeah.
How would a young Reggie Bush look in the league right now?
Ooh. I mean, first of all,
you look like you can go, you know.
Yeah, first of all, they want, I was considered a small running back then. And so in the time period when I came into the NFL, they still wanted a big running back and a small running back to
like
counterbalance
Warren Dunn
each
and
other.
Mike Allstott.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so my OG who was in there before me was Deuce McAllister.
Okay.
Deuce was about 230 at that time. I was 205 pounds soaking wet, but now they want the running backs that can do everything. And that's who I was.
Right.
I was a running back that did everything. My rookie year, I had 95 receptions as a running back. I caught the football all over the place. Also returned punts, kicks, and ran the football. And so those are the guys now that you see that are now the every down backs. I was just a little bit ahead of my time. But had I been in this era now, especially with the way they play defense, because the way they play defense now is just wide open.
You know, remind me of you. Swift kind of reminds me of you.
Yeah, Swift. Yep. I love watching him in college too. He was a dog in college,
Yeah.
and he had that one step cut and go and get up the field. But yeah, I love watching him, man. But if I was playing in this era right now, seeing just with the shift of the way offense is played, it's played more spread out now.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in the NFL, when I got into the league, they were still using fullbacks.
Yeah.
Fullbacks are non-existent anymore.
Yeah, right.
We don't even have fullbacks in the league anymore.
It's another receiver now.
So that position is completely gone. And so now everything has gone more to a more spread out, 4 receivers, 3 receivers. Some tight ends are considered receivers, right? And single back sets. And that was perfectly tailored from somebody like me who has speed, vision, can catch the football, can kind of create a lot of issues for linebackers. And so if I played in this era, I mean,
one mistake is 6.
Yeah, it's game over. But I'm also a fan of just seeing, how much faster the game is played. Because I do believe the game is just being played faster. It's a more QB driven league. You're seeing more dual threat quarterbacks come out now, which I love.
And black quarterbacks.
I think was it this past year or the year before was the first time we had 2 black quarterbacks starting the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts and Pat Mahomes. So, I love seeing this evolution of the dual threat quarterback. My son plays flag football, but I got him playing quarterback literally for that reason. Because I want him to be able to utilize all his skill sets. If I could go back to college and do it all over again, I'll play quarterback.
You should see how fast his son plays basketball. One of my sons.
Yeah.
Boy, you see how fast he is on the basketball court. Like you just tell it's in him. He be taking off. I'm like, oh, there's Reggie's son.
Bloodline.
There's Reggie's son.
Even with running backs being a hot topic right now, and a lot of teams trying to figure out how they can get a key running back to be successful, they're still the lowest paid. What's your opinion on that?
It sucks, man. I hate seeing that, bro, because
beating,
because running backs take the biggest beating. They take the most contact on every single play, and it's a very, very tough position to succeed in, especially now in this day and age.
And stay healthy.
That's the biggest issue, right? Is staying healthy. Most running backs, especially we talk about this era running backs, you're always outweighed, always, by the linebackers, by the D linemen. And so you got to think, every time you run through that line, you're hitting this 7 or 8 guys that are way bigger than you, that you got to run through. And so by nature, that position is not designed for you to last long, just by nature. I believe, though, that there are still some great running backs out there that can carry the load, that can be the difference maker. I think, as much as I've loved the speed of the game and where it's gone and how much it's a passing game, I think we also need to get back to running the football a little bit more too. Because that balances out, what you can do on offense. If you have a good attack from the running back, from the backfield, That's gonna open up everything for the quarterback.
Play action.
That helps the linemen too.
Yeah, exactly.
The linemen hate dropping back every play.
Exactly, bro. Linemen hate dropping back 50, 60 times a game, bro. They like, they big. They want to put their weight on somebody. They want to go forward, So when you going backwards all the time, that's not fun.
How's your body? I mean, high school, college, pros. Mm-hmm. I mean, we'll talk about the accident you had, the slip you had, but how was your body overall?
So my body now is great, man. I feel amazing. But when I retired from the NFL,
how long you been out?
It's going on 6 years now.
Yeah, man, it's going on 7 for me. Yeah.
I might even be a year off. It might be 7 years for me.
Yeah.
But it's crazy how time, how fast it just goes, man.
It goes.
And, the game, it's a young man's game.
Mm-hmm.
Game not gonna wait for you. But for me, I played 11 years in the NFL as a running back, which is a long time.
Yeah.
And I was fighting through my last 2 years, man. I was fighting through some pretty bad injuries, and mostly all from my left knee. Mm-hmm. So I tore my PCL, medial meniscus. I've had microfracture surgery, and I've torn my lateral meniscus as well. And so all those, injuries, required a significant amount of time period, as you guys know, to come back from. And what the issue was for me was coming back from those injuries as fast as you have to come back. You got to bounce back that next year.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to be just as good as you were the year
somebody
before,
coming.
or somebody else is coming to take your spot. And so over time, I couldn't get my body back healthy enough in order to play, football. So I retired, and I was dealing with a lot of injuries from my left knee. I saw a bunch of doctors. Pretty much all of the doctors I saw told me I needed knee replacement surgery. And that
in your 30s, that's crazy.
Exactly. Yeah. And that was the biggest discussion. I was asking doctors, well, I'm still in my 30s.
You have to do it again.
So if I get it now,
I have to do it again.
And knowing how active I am, am I going to be back on the shelf in the next 15, 20 years? And so they obviously all said, yeah, it's a big possibility, so now I'm faced with this dilemma of what do I do, right? And so I went right away, started doing research, started looking for answers, started working on my body for one. Most importantly, I started putting work into my body. And I think that was something that I truly needed. I needed to put more focus back into my body, getting strong, getting healthy. And so I started doing that. And I connected with this company, Victory Insoles. They have these carbon fiber insoles that I use every single day. And these insoles are amazing. And I would recommend them to anybody, especially athletes. But they've been able to give me some technology and some extra lift on the left side that just helps balance out my walk. Mm-hmm. And then from there, now that my walk is more balanced out, now it's more about me, getting my body back stronger and healthier. But as far as the pain that I was dealing with on a daily basis, man, it was excruciating. And it was one of the worst things, that I've had to go through, because it was a daily pain. And when you're in daily pain, it affects you mentally. Everything. It affects how you respond to people. It affected how I responded to my kids, my wife. And, I saw things that I just needed to fix about myself and about my body that would help my overall health. Yeah. So hopefully that is a long ass explanation that got to it.
That's good.
You number one player in high school, played with Alex Smith. Yep. What was that like?
It was awesome, man. Alex was.
Is he 1 year older than you?
Yeah, 1 year older than me. Yeah.
San Diego.
Yeah. Yeah.
619. Is it 619?
619. Yes, sir.
619.
It was awesome, man, playing with Alex. We didn't lose a football game. We went undefeated every year. Our team was loaded. We were a football school, my high school, Helix High School.
Y'all didn't lose a game in high school?
We didn't lose a game, bro. Oh, listen, hold on. This is crazy. So by the time I got to the NFL, my total career, I had only lost 3 games. Total.
That's college and high school.
That's college and high school. I lost a total of 3 games. So when I got to the NFL, and then we went to my rookie year, and we went to the NFC Championship game, I was like, oh, this is just how it's going to be for the rest of my career. Yeah. I thought I was just going to be winning every year, and, obviously you get humbled playing. But yeah, man, going back to playing with Alex, it was awesome. Having a quarterback like that, I've been blessed really to play with great quarterbacks. Yeah. And, that to me has helped my career more than anything, because when you're surrounded by great talent, it makes everything else better. And Alex is a great leader. He's a great team captain for us. He was a great player.
He's just a good person, though,
He's
too.
a good person, and comes from a great family too. His dad was our principal, and but Alex, I love the way that he attacked the work. He always worked his butt off. He always showed up. He always played hard, and the last year was my junior year. That's when we really started to throw the football more. And once we started throwing the ball more, we started spreading out the offense. That's when he started getting recruited. And, the rest is history. He went to Utah, had a great career at Utah with Urban Meyer, put them on the map, and then obviously went to the NFL. So.
I don't know him too well, but he says a lot of positive things on our posts and All the Smoke page and on my page. He sent a lot of positive stuff.
He's a good dude, man.
He's a rough ending.
Yeah, exactly. And he went through, God dang, as tough as an injury can possibly be, humanly possibly be, man. You always hear, I would always hear stories of, just different surgeries that went bad. Somebody caught some kind of infection or something.
He almost had to amputate his leg.
Yeah,
at some point.
and those are the horror stories that you just never want to go through, especially somebody like me who's going through surgeries and injuries constantly, in and out of the hospital, doctors, and knock on wood, man. I was just so happy that obviously I was able to go through all my stuff healthy.
Yeah.
But Alex, man, great. Was a great guy.
His injury opened up the door for Pat Mahomes, right?
Exactly. Yep.
So crazy.
Growing up in San Diego, what did watching LaDainian Tomlinson do for you?
Man, it was everything for me, bro. It was watching LT and with the Chargers. Just, growing up in San Diego, you're naturally a Charger fan, and our two biggest athletes, from San Diego was Junior Seau and Tony Gwynn in baseball. And if you played either one of those sports, you wanted to be like those guys. And so I grew up watching those guys, and then I got to high school and college and started watching LT and just watching the way that he ran the football. I would run into him at a lot of the high school, award ceremonies. He would always show up and be the honorary, celebrity athlete to come and hand out the awards. And so we connected in high school, stayed in touch in college. And then, so my sophomore year, after my sophomore year finished, I was up for the Heisman Trophy, didn't win. And so I knew that I had a shot to possibly win it the next year. So I was like, man, I got to take my work ethic. I got to take this thing to the next level. And so I hit LT. I was like, man, let me come and just start working out with you, because I want to work around the best. I want to see what it's like. And we went and worked out together. He whooped my ass a couple times in the workouts. But what it did for me was it showed me how the best works at that time and where I need to get to. And so, I'm so appreciative to LT, for allowing me to just be around him in those times, because it really motivated me and showed me, okay, I see what the best is working and how he's working, but I can get there. And I feel like I can do it even better. And so that summer I went to work, after working with LT, and then, the next year, that next season, won the Heisman Trophy.
That was ugly.
How many people can say that though?
Right.
And that's when you in high school, I get up on the call, LT, like, LT, I need to turn my game up. What you got? Pull up, young fella.
Yes, sir. But, I love, and that's what I try to do, man. I try to pass it back down to the young kids now. Now, we obviously, none of us can do it anymore. I'm coaching my sons, flag football teams, basketball teams. I'm coaching my kids in track and field. I'm trying to do everything I can to now dump all my knowledge that I've built and pour it back into them. And, it's getting fun right now with my kids, because I'm starting to see.
So what's the ages now?
So my daughter's 11. Uriah, my middle son, is 8. He's about to be 9. And then my youngest, Aljamain, is 6. He's about to be 7. And they all play sports. My two boys run track, play football, basketball. And then my daughter is track and tennis.
Nice.
And but again, it's getting fun for me right now, because I'm just seeing the work that they put in and the work I put in with them is starting to show up on the basketball court, on the football field.
Yeah, that's dope.
I mean, it just makes sense with all the other Heisman running backs from San Diego. You just had to fit in that category, huh? With Ricky Williams, Sean Salam.
Yeah, man. So so growing up, we're at my area, just my 10, 15-mile race where I grew up, as Rashawn Salam, Ricky Williams, Marcus Allen, Terrell Davis, and all from that one little area.
Feeding all y'all footballs.
That had to be the water.
Yeah. And so I seen, I've had examples in front of me of guys who've done it, who come from my
Great
area. Great examples. Marcus Allen went to USC.
Mm-hmm.
Ricky Williams, he was everything. Ricky was larger than life.
Ricky was different.
Yes, he was man. It was crazy. And so watching these guys and just knowing that they paved the way for me, showing me that a San Diego running back could do it, could come from this neighborhood and can go do it at the highest level, it motivated me. And I used all of that motivation to try and replicate that on the football field, what they did, and try to do it bigger and better, try to exceed it. And so it's awesome, man. Our neighborhood in San Diego, there's a lot of rich history in football there.
Terrell Davis.
TD. I said TD. Yeah, Terrell Davis. Yep. TD. Yep. So Terrell Davis and Marcus Allen went to the same high school. Lincoln High School. Yep. And so actually, it was crazy. Is Lincoln High School, for a while, it was bad. It was real bad.
Lean on me.
Yeah, every Lincoln High School, everywhere. I went to Lincoln. All Lincolns around the world are East Side High.
What is it?
East Side. All of them East Side High.
What is it with the Lincolns and
Martin Luther King?
MLKs?
That's called East Side High.
Man. They do MLK like that, bro. But yeah, so Lincoln High School now actually is one of the top high schools in San Diego.
Now,
they put a lot of money back into the high school. I believe their football program.
Yeah, they're back over there coaching.
Yeah, the football programs is competing. Now they got state championships football. They had that when I was in high school. So they got state now that Lincoln has been playing in. I know their basketball team is pretty good. Baseball team is supposed to be pretty good too. So
gym, field,
yeah, they put a lot of money into that. And I'm so glad that they've done that, because for a very long time that school was always it was always known as the hood school. And so now you've seen all the success, people pouring money back into the inner cities, and that's what the inner city communities need.
Yeah, get it back in. When the last time you ran a 40?
It's been a minute. It's been a minute.
The last time you ran, what was your time, you think? You remember? Can you remember?
My last 40?
Yeah.
4.3.
4.3.
What was your fastest? What was your
4.3.
4.3?
4.3, yes. I ran 4.3 at my pro day at USC, and I was a track guy, and so track and field for me, and that's why my kids run track right now. It's because track is just, it translates to every sport. I don't care what sport it is. Every sport involves running, except for golf. But track and field was everything for me in my career, because I was already naturally fast, but once I learned how to run, technique, I get into the open field, just relax and just straighten up, and it's just I will pull away from guys.
You still under 4.5?
I'm definitely under 4.5.
Yeah, you definitely under 4.5.
Yeah, we should probably go test this out.
I know, right?
Test this thing out. It's been a minute.
Gilly did it recently.
That motherfucker ran a
5.9, some shit like that.
Cat Williams ran naked at 4.9?
4.9.
Like,
was fine.
Yeah,
fresh off a night of no sleep.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah. Which thing you gonna do right now?
I'll probably pull something.
Pull a muscle?
Yeah, my fastest was a 4.39.
It might not be that fast, but I can do it. It ain't gonna be that fast though.
I could probably I'm probably a sub 5, right around that area.
Yeah.
Pete Carroll,
Yep.
How instrumental was he as obviously kind of a mentor, coach, and a leader of that squad?
Yeah. Pete was, Pete, the culture started with Pete. The culture that we created, it starts with the head coach. The culture that any team creates always starts with the head coach. And, he created a culture, but, the players took it and we improved it, right? We made it better. And, but Pete was, he was amazing because he always wanted us to have fun. But he knew how to get the most out of us, right? He knew how to get us to, work as hard as humanly possible. We had fun while doing it. We used to see some of our games, we'd be celebrating on the sidelines, chest bumping, dancing, whatever it was. And so it was a very fun-filled environment. And I think, when you're talking about college kids, that's what you need, right? It doesn't need to be a straight business.
It can't. You'll lose them.
And you lose them, exactly. Especially right now in this era with the youth.
Way different. You have to be more. You got to be more creative now.
Different, bro. You cannot. I don't think the coaches that I had would be able to thrive in this era with these kids, because it's just a different ball game, man.
Right,
and there's a lot more information that's available to them, which is another part of it. Social media is another part of it. Transfer portal, right? Now you can just pick up and leave if you want to.
Right.
And so, our team, our third stream was a 5-star. You won't see that anymore.
That's crazy.
You will never see another 5-star player, maybe even sitting second stream, because there's going to be other teams that are going to need him and want him, and he can go and play right now.
And they can DM him like, hey, we got this for you.
Exactly.
We'll see you next month.
You can go make money right now. So now college players about to get paid. So now it's really open season, right? Because now why would I go sit behind somebody if another university is going to offer me money right now? I can go start playing, get film on me right now. So this transfer portal, it changed everything, man. And
do you think not to cut you off, in a good or a bad way? Because we all came up like shit. Sometimes you got to sit your turn. Our freshman year, we didn't really do stuff. But second year, sophomore year, junior year, what are your thoughts on that? Because obviously it is beneficial for some people to go get a fresh start, but at the same time, to me, you keep running from the smoke. At some point, you ain't nowhere to run.
I think it's a case by case. We've seen it really benefit some players. So I think the perfect example is Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow transferred, goes to LSU. That next year, the team takes off.
They go win the same thing too, didn't he?
Jalen Hurts. They go win a national championship. He wins a Heisman Trophy. First round draft pick. That may not have happened if he had to just sit there and wait. And so, I love the positive benefits of it, and where it can help a player to go and start playing right now. Because for so long, a coach could get fired and go get another job, get hired
2 weeks.
2 weeks, a week. Still getting paid by the previous school.
Right.
And so, I didn't love that because players used to have to sit a whole year. Remember? Sit an entire year before you can go and play if you wanted to transfer. So I thought that was an issue. So now that they got rid of that, I love that the power is back in the players' hands. On the other end, I think the players need representation when they're making these decisions.
Right.
Some kind of guidance.
So you need some kind of guidance. And I don't even know if your school is the right one to handle that, right? Like you can't just go have somebody from your school.
That's a tunnel vision.
It's got to be a separate, agent or somebody to represent you in this decision you're about to make, because it could make or break your future. And so there are stories out there of guys who get stuck in the transfer portal, and the new team maybe brings in another player, and the old team don't want them anymore.
I want you back.
So now where do you go?
I want to say I heard a crazy number, like there's 1,700 kids in there with only like 250 schools.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's nuts.
Yeah. So now you got a lot more kids hopping into the transfer portal, and it's competition in the transfer portal.
Stuck in the matrix.
You can get stuck in that matrix. I like the players having more power, but again, they need representation.
All right. So obviously you're on the field at SC was well covered and decorated. What was life like off the field for you? Because obviously you had, again, like I said earlier, you had
bigger than life.
That's what I'm saying. That's 18, 19. Your name is up there with Kobe and Shaq.
Heard you was driving 6'4s and
shit. What was life like outside of football during those runs?
It was good. It was fun. Obviously, we got a lot of respect everywhere we went. I wasn't a big party guy, so I wasn't out in the streets like that. I was really focused on trying to get to the next level. And so I didn't have a lot of time for BS. I didn't have a lot of time for bullshit. And so for me, I would go out and hang out here and there, but I was more focused on, I need to get to this next level because this is not the final stop for me. And, as much as fun we were having and we were enjoying it, my mind was focused and it was locked in on where I need to get to. And so, it was awesome. Obviously being at school and winning championships, it was amazing, man. College was one of the best experiences of my life. And, to this day, it to me holds a special place in my heart because I feel like I became a man in college. And, a lot more responsibility was placed on my shoulders, right? Everything about my future was right there in front of me, and I had to lock in and go get it. And so, I really locked in on, school. I tried to block out, all the BS from the outside, whether it was outside people, trying to, I don't know. I just tried to block out the outside people as much as I could, man. But unfortunately, that didn't happen with this, this situation with the NCAA. and everything that happened with that. But, you know, for me, again, you know, just being around that time period, I had so much fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
The college experience was everything I could have ever imagined.
That's the journey.
And, you know, that was the journey. Yeah, like you said, man. The journey is, when you look back on it,
that's the part of
you know, I love the championships, but the journey, being in the locker room with your teammates, your brothers, the road games.
Even having to go to study hall, the bus rides, all that shit.
2003, where were you 2003?
High school still, right?
2003, I was freshman.
Freshman
at USC.
So that's the last time I seen you in person. Let me tell you why. We won the championship that year, and we went to a party here in LA for the ESPY Awards.
Oh, yeah.
That's the last time I seen you. Yeah,
I do remember that.
I wanted to remind you about that. That's the last time I seen you. We had a good time tonight.
Yeah.
Because it was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that won the Super Bowl that year, and it was us, and we were all in the same party.
Yep. I remember that.
Must be nice.
We had a good time.
We definitely got, you know, whenever we wanted to go to clubs and stuff like that.
What's no bigger place here in LA? You were the best player on the best team in college football. Bro. You know what I mean? So it's just like the world is your oyster.
Told you he was a freshman. He walked in there, bro. Reggie Bush was like,
it was definitely Reggie Bush. It was all of it. You know, I didn't at that time period, I didn't realize how big it was, because when you in it, you just this is just what we do.
Right.
But when you look back on it, man, and I didn't realize how big it was and how massive what we were doing was, and how we were changing the game, and how we were affecting, you know, people's, you know, decisions to go to colleges and stuff like that. Man, it was awesome.
After you get done with your doc, let's work on the SC doc.
Absolutely. Hell yeah. Absolutely.
You had people in Texas wearing USC jerseys, and we was rooting for Vince Young.
But wearing the Reggie Bush jersey.
You got a Reggie Bush jersey on.
That's my dog, man, Vince.
Yeah.
You know,
that was a hell of a game, bro.
What's crazy, you know, what I love about the game, you know, you guys understand this, man, is, you know, sometimes the players who are your rivals or your enemies on the field end up becoming some guys, some of your closest homies.
Yeah, bro.
And, you know, Vince is you know, somebody I have a lot of respect for, because Vince also did something that I'll never forget. And, you know, after we played national championship game, obviously they beat us. One of the things that we did, me and Matt did, was we went to their locker room.
Yeah.
And we sought out Vince and the coach. We wanted to shake their hands like, yo, congrats. Like, that was a good ass game.
Best game ever. Damn
best game ever. And after that, when this penalties were happening and the Heisman Trust stripped me of the Heisman Trophy, one of the things that they did was they went to Vince and they asked him if he wanted the trophy.
If he wanted your trophy.
If he wanted the trophy. They were going to they did. They took the trophy from me and they were going to give it to Vince. That's crazy. At this time period, Vince says to the Heisman Trust, that's Reggie's trophy.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget that, because you got to think, first of all, he just beat us.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're on top of the world, you know, and they just took down the #1 team. Great football game, like you said, one of the greatest games ever. He would have every right, you know what I'm saying, or in that moment, if he wanted to be like, absolutely, you know what I'm saying? Let me get that. And I think that, again, we talk about that respect and that bond that you create on that battlefield.
Can't break that shit.
On the football field, you can't break that. Mm-hmm. And there's no outside business people, no NCAA.
They won't understand it.
They won't understand that. And shout out to Vince, man, that's my dog. I have a lot of respect for him, you know, not only as a football player, but, man, just as a man, and for everything he stands for, and for the decision that he made as a young 20, 21-year-old kid, to make that decision and to say that and to support me in that time, that meant everything to me.
That's dope. NIL right now, college football is heavy. Some of the top earners, Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, Archie Manning, value between $3 to $4 million. With all due respect to those young stars, what would a Reggie Bush had done at USC in a full NIL?
He'd have been maxed out.
He would have took a pay cut to go to the NFL, first and foremost. What kind of money you think you could have had in this NIL era?
Oh my God, man. Being here in LA, in Hollywood, at USC, one of the most storied programs, winning Heisman trophies, national championships. Bruh.
Sixfold.
It would have been amazing. I don't know if I would have been ready for it. You know, being that young, and you know, having that much money, or just having, you know, money like that, you know, because also when you're that young, 18, 19, you're not financially.
No.
I'm not financially.
I get that bread in college. I ain't thinking about the league. I'm gonna stay here for a little while.
You're gonna just spend it right away. You're gonna spend all of it.
7 year senior.
So, you know, on one end, You know, obviously NIL is available to players now, but you know, I was also came to the NFL at a time period where you got your money up front when you got drafted.
Yeah.
And now they don't have that anymore because it's been slotted now, you know, towards veterans, and now you got to go work towards getting your money, getting that big contract. And you know, when I came out, you got your big contract up front, and so you know, it's a different understanding. And I think that's why it also speaks to, you know, why playing running back now is even more tough.
Yeah.
Because as a running back, the lifespan of running back is really 3 to 4 years.
The risk ain't worth the reward, kind of.
The reward is not
what everybody else getting.
No.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks is getting.
Now too, they're getting close to guaranteed basketball deals now.
Exactly.
That was all signing bonus
Yep.
and no guaranteed money.
And so you got to think, as a running back, my career average 3 to 4 years. How am I going to get a big contract out of that? You're not.
Nope.
And so you're going to spend those first 3 to 4 years just trying to get there, and they're going to replace you right away. And so now, you know, it's even worse for running backs because you trying to earn it, but the odds are stacked up against you, you know, even more. And so that's why, you know, NIL is great. Now I'm happy they got it, but I'm also blessed that I came through a time period where I was, you know, taken care of up front.
Yeah.
You know, and I was smart with my money and saved it, and you know, now we're good.
How many contracts did you get in the league?
So I did my rookie contract was 6 years, and then I did a 2-year contract with the Dolphins after that, 4-year deal with the Lions, but I only saw 2 years of that.
Yeah.
1 year.
Saints.
Yeah. So what? That's
Four.
contracts.
Yeah.
But only one of those was a big contract.
Yeah.
The first one, that was it.
Yeah.
The second contract was, I didn't even see this last 2 years.
Yeah.
So they traded me, or they released me after that. So really, that's why I'm saying I got my contract up front. That was where my big money came from.
First one.
But
When you got traded, did you feel like when they start trading you a lot, like did you feel like you was almost done, or it was just what they was thinking?
hell no, I thought I had a lot left.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. It's normally like that, bro. It's normally like that.
So basically, what happened, you know, with I was on a 6-year contract. Year 5. You know, and what they do to you in the NFL is they backload your contract, knowing that you're probably not going to see that last year.
Yeah.
And so I never saw that last year in my contract. But, you know, but for me, you know, getting that money up front, like it set me up. You know, it set me up for life. You know what I'm saying? And so, again, that's just why it's so much tougher for players now. You got to go earn that money now.
Right.
And don't get hurt along the way of trying to earn that money.
Yeah.
You might not never
in
get
that
back.
position. So we were thinking before, just kind of a little fun thing, the top college stars since the year 2000.
Yeah.
So we came up with you, Johnny Manziel, Caitlin Clark, Tim Tebow, John Wall, Zion, Cam Newton, Angel Reese, Mike Vick.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else come to mind?
Top star since 2000?
Yeah, just the 2000s, 2000 on.
Oh my God, that'll tell me because I'm gonna think about 10 of them as soon as I leave here.
Yeah, that's how it is.
You put me on the spot. This is a question I needed beforehand.
Y'all go down in the comments on this part too, and let us know who we're missing. You just heard our list. Who else are we missing?
Let me just give you my stars.
Okay.
They're not from 2000.
Okay.
You know, just
Yeah.
my
Period.
favorite stars.
Yeah.
Period. Barry Sanders.
Ooh.
Prime time.
Mm.
So Barry and Prime were the two guys I tried to emulate growing up. Those are two guys I wanted to be like. You know, obviously Barry for just how elusive he was, the cuts on the football field, and then the way Prime, the showmanship, he would go back, return punts, get the crowd hype. And I tried to take a little piece of all that and to mold it into myself. Also another guy, Marshall Falk.
Of course.
Eddie George in college was a dog.
San Diego State.
Hey, he was killing in bro. He was running for
Oh,
like
yeah.
3
San Diego State, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ripping off 80 runs, take a break.
Yep.
Is that the Aztecs?
Yep, San Diego
They
State.
had the dopest jerseys.
Yeah, San Diego State had some dope jerseys.
Black and red.
It was San Diego State had some clean jerseys.
Hell yeah.
The red helmets, the red helmet with the stripe going down the middle, the Aztecs on the side.
Fire.
Man, who else? Peter Warwick was a guy, man. I used to love watching Peter Warwick, bro.
Had some hands and some feet.
Man, I mean, he in college, I used to think there's nobody that could be better
The way he could
than
stop
Peter
on a
Warwick.
dime.
Yeah, the way he could stop on a dime. Who else are we missing? God, I remember a bunch of them as soon as we leave. But yeah, man, I mean, those are, you know, some of the guys that, you know, I grew up watching, that I idolize, that I love, you know, watching the way that they played the game. Maybe
I
Lamar
know-
Jackson. Yeah,
I know
Lamar
who we
Jackson
missing.
on there. Pat Mahomes, Lamar Jackson.
Raghib Ismail.
Ooh,
The Rocket.
Yes.
He was big at Notre Dame, bro.
Rocket was huge, man. Rocket was huge.
Reggie before Reggie with the
He was.
The Rocket was cool.
Charles Woodson.
C. Wood.
Yeah.
C. Wood was huge.
C. Wood, yep.
C. Wood was a superstar. He used to come to UCLA and fuck a Baron.
He was a superstar.
Yeah, he was there.
Yeah. C. Wood. Shout out to C. Wood. That's my dog, man. We
Bailey.
still get it in.
C. Wood, we need some whiskey, bro.
Yeah.
Refill.
Got that whiskey
Go
on deck.
The eye black. You had 619 on it. All the kids around the world started putting messages on the eye. Even Tebow took it farther, put the Bible verse on it.
Yep.
You were a bigger part of the culture than just playing, like swag and all that too.
Yeah.
What you think about that and how that blew up? And then the NCAA ended up banning it.
Look at that young boy right there.
Man.
They ended up banning it because you were swaggy.
Exactly, because they don't want you to have.
They didn't create it.
The power.
Yeah,
That's why.
They couldn't monetize it.
Yeah, they can't monetize off of it. They don't want you to have the power. They don't want you to understand that you can affect all these kids and the way that they watch the game and the things that they want to do. But I loved, so the way that kind of came about. So I started actually with writing my area code on my wrist tape.
Mm-hmm.
And, you always, as athletes, we always hear the narrative of don't forget where you come from, right? And so that was kind of my way of paying homage back to my hometown. And so I was writing it on my wrist tape for a while, and I stopped wearing wrist tape, and I started wearing eye black. And one day, Tino, my OG, Tino, he's our equipment guy, came in and he was like, he wrote the area code on it. He was like, why don't you try this out? I was like,
dope.
I was like, what you think? You think it'll look good? So we tried it at practice. All my teammates went crazy. So I knew once the teammates liked it, I was like, oh, we got something.
We good.
So I started rocking it in the games. And, but yeah, this is before a time period before anybody, did that, thought about that. And then for me, I love the idea of having my city on my face or somewhere where I can show.
See it through
this
the
is
face
where I'm
mask.
from, bro.
Yeah.
Because, as basketball players, y'all, it's different for y'all,
Yeah.
right? Y'all don't wear helmets.
Yep.
So, people see y'all faces all the time.
How can you
Football
stand out?
players, I didn't even have my name on the back of my jersey.
Yeah.
So think about that.
Y'all didn't have
We didn't even have names on the back of our jerseys.
Right.
So you think about that, like, they really want you to just
blend in.
Like, they really don't want you to stand out. And so you got to do different things like that to stand out.
I feel like you studied your sock game was different from running backs, your towel placement, everything you did. Look, you had a towel placement.
One arm sleeve.
Arm sleeves. He was like a hooper.
Nah, for real.
Yeah.
Around the back shit.
The
on
AI.
I'm like, oh, these niggas out there playing basketball. You out there in the mid sock.
The black cleat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, I've always, like I said, I watched a lot of Deion Sanders. And I feel like a lot of that came from him, watching his swag, watching his style on the football field, the way that he would create his own, persona. He had his own persona. And it was very different and it stood out from anybody else. And I always wanted to stand out with the way that I played the game and even the way that I looked on the football field. Yep. And I always wanted to make sure my uniform had to be clean.
Yeah, you look good. Remember Prime?
I always had to have a towel hanging out, and that really came from watching guys like Prime, like Marshall Faulk. And then, the socks always had to be about calf high.
Yeah.
And that came from Marshall Faulk.
Pearly whites.
So Marshall would always wear his socks high. And so, it's when you grow up and you watch these sports, man, you take a little piece from all these guys that you idolize.
Yeah.
And so I took a little piece from these guys. And when you again, the punt returns, getting the crowd hype, I took that from Prime. The socks, I got that from Marshall Faulk. The towel, probably from Prime too. You know what I'm saying? And so, you take a lot of these pieces from these guys and you kind of mold them into who you are. And I always wanted to be different on the football field. And so that's why you would see me jump over guys, flip over guys, behind the back, whatever I had to do to get to that end zone. It was, for me, it was more than just a game. It was about life, and it was about, I got to get to this next level. I got to get to being able to take care of my mom, my dad, my brothers, because I want them to see the fruits of my labor as well.
That's deep.
When I say that it was 46 NFL players in that game,
Yep.
what you think about that?
It's crazy, because
That's basically you got two NFL teams playing
Yes.
in the college championship right now.
Exactly. And, it was, obviously when we think about that game, we think about just the last couple seconds, Vince scoring a touchdown. And that's what kind of game it was.
It was a slugfest.
It was a slugfest. It's back and forth. We can't get up from this TV right now. We got to sit here and watch every single play, and that's the way that the game also played out, obviously, on the football field. And, it was even crazier to be a part of it in person because, we were up by two touchdowns.
Nobody couldn't get a stop.
At halftime.
Yeah.
We were up by 2 touchdowns at halftime, even, with everything that was going on. And it was such a back and forth game. And, Vince just took over, in that second half. And that obviously ended up being the difference, man. But, having that many future NFL players on one football field at the same time, that may never happen again.
Right.
We may never see that again because, again, you think about the transfer portals, NILs, players about to get paid. It's a different ballgame now.
You, Lindell White, and Jamal Charles couldn't be from my hometown. Y'all all on the field at the same time in the ball game. That's crazy,
Vince
man.
Young.
That's crazy.
Matt.
Shout out Jamal, man.
Yeah, man. But yeah, being a part of those games, man, as y'all know, those are some of the games that you'll never forget. You never forget those games that, even if you lost it in the last second, you never forget those close battles where you was dog tired after the game and you fought tooth and nail, you did everything you could. Those are the games that really build you up on the inside.
Speak of Sean Payton.
Yeah.
A lot of people got their different opinions of Sean Payton. Some people say he's a jerk. So a lot of people say he's a great coach. Everywhere he go, he finds ways to win. You had nearly 100 receptions your rookie year, 565 rushing yards. How was it? How was Sean Payton?
My rookie year, I hated Sean.
Really?
I did. I really did.
Drill sergeant.
And, I have a lot of love and respect for him now. But at that time period, you got to also understand, I got drafted 5 months after Hurricane Katrina. So we went to a team that was literally depleted, literally no energy, no culture, no nothing. We had to infuse all of that first year there together. And I was Sean's first draft pick, So I was obviously more than happy to be there on the team, but Sean was a disciplinarian, and he had a job to do at the time. And so I didn't understand, as much because, again, Sean liked to yell. I didn't like coaches that like to yell. So if you're a coach that liked to yell, it was already like an issue for me because I always felt like, there's a different way you could talk to guys. But again, also, Sean was hit with this significant responsibility to completely turn this organization around. I think the year before they didn't win a single football game. And so we're going from nothing, building something, from literally from scratch. And we all, I think, felt the pressure at that time period, players included, especially me because, I'm coming in as the highly regarded athlete that's supposed to help bring, winning back to the city.
Are y'all still displaced at the time?
Yeah. No, we didn't have
Nothing, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So our training
nothing.
camp, first 4 games of the season, 5 games of the season, we lived in Mississippi.
Yeah.
And so we didn't have a home stadium because they were still, rebuilding the stadium from Katrina.
It flooded. Yeah.
A lot of devastation that happened in the city, So, we there was a lot of pressure on us. And Drew Brees, I don't know if you remember, he's coming off a major shoulder injury. He had basically tore his shoulder up the year before with the Chargers.
I was about to say coming to there.
Coming there.
Yeah, they still gave him a deal with the. Yeah.
He was coming into a situation where
prove himself.
Nobody knew what he was going to be, if he was ever going to get back to who he was. I'm coming into this team being labeled a cheater and dealing with the NCAA pressures of that. And now all of a sudden, here's an entire city that needs you to help restore hope and faith, into the city through playing football. And so, we all had a job to do, and at that time period, again, like I said, I hated Sean because of how much he yelled. But then as we started to progress through the next few years and we started to see the work pay off, we developed a very close bond. And now to this day, Sean is one of my good friends. But there was a time period where I strongly disliked this dude. I don't know if you guys ever had that coach before. That coach that yells a lot.
Yeah.
And for me, I was just one of those guys where I did not like coaches that yelled. So, but Sean he's a good coach though.
Let me tell you something crazy about you talk about Katrina.
Yeah.
A 5-hour drive, doing a regular 5-hour drive during Katrina, that drive from New Orleans to Texas was 26 hours.
Yeah.
That's how bad the traffic was.
Yep.
It's normally 5 hours. It took people 26 hours to get there, bro. That was crazy.
It was such a crazy time period. You know, oh my God. I mean, there was when I first landed, when they drafted me, they took me on a tour through the 9th Ward, and there were still houses,
Dead bodies
that had outside of the house was a number spray painted on the house with a circle around it. How many people with dead bodies they found in their house. And so I'm getting drafted, and I'm taking a tour through all of this. I'm coming from LA, from Hollywood, you know, from this, you know, it's very different here, obviously, than when you go other places, right? And so, you know, for me, going and being thrusted into that situation, I right away felt the sense of responsibility, but I also felt the pressure too.
Yeah.
And so that first year, you know, I think, you know, all of the pressure, you know, I felt like was on my shoulders to go and win football games, to restore hope in the city. And we did that.
Yeah.
And so, you know, after that first year, like I said, that's when me and Sean really started I felt like our relationship improved, and I started to see the vision, the purpose, and then a couple years later, we won a Super Bowl, you know. But I had to fight through 2 years of injuries before we won that Super Bowl. And so, you know, it was a very rocky start, I think, to my career, because my first year, a lot of success. Second year, on the shelf, injured. Third year, microfracture surgery. Fourth year, win a Super Bowl. You know, and so when you talk about just, I think, fighting through those mental battles and those mental hurdles, and of winning and the pressures of that, when you get injured, it throws everything off.
Yeah.
How was that, Mike? Because I know on the basketball side, microfracture guys never are the same.
Yeah.
Jonathan Bender.
Kmart, Jay Kidd had it, if I'm not mistaken. A lot of guys. How was that on the football side? Because you got a different kind of move.
Mari.
The doctors told me that I probably had, at that time period after the surgery, they told me I probably had like 2 years left to play. And so I never forget laying in the hospital bed and hearing, you know, the doctors come in and it was like, yeah, surgery went great. You know, you probably got, you know, another year or 2, 3 max, you know, to play in the league. I ended up playing another 6. But it was tough because the year we won the Super Bowl, my 4th year, pretty much before every game I was getting my knee drained. And I was also, we also had to take Toridal shots, just to be able to get through the pain. You know, and so it was a lot, man. And just, I think the constant swelling of my knee and getting it drained, that was the roughest part. Because, you know, once you get it drained, it hurts. It hurts like hell.
What did Toridal do for you? Did it make you, did it go away, or do you still felt a little bit of pain with that? Because that Toridal was superhuman for me.
It worked for about the first half. And then that second half, you like right back to that pain.
Some people double up?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Some people first, before the game, and then at halftime.
Yeah.
You go get another one at halftime.
Yeah.
And so I had to do that a few times as well, just
for your
because,
liver
again,
kidneys.
you know, the pain of getting hit, getting tackled on that knee, and it's just not as strong. You're fighting through these injuries, and it's getting swollen after every game. And then you get on planes, it's just getting even more swollen. You know, this was definitely tough.
The lawsuit when you slipped in the stadium with the Rams, what happened?
So I was returning the punt. I was playing for the 49ers at this time, and I'm running to the sideline. And as I'm running out of bounds, I'm running full speed, I get pushed. So now I'm going even faster, and it felt like about 5 yards from the out of bounds was a concrete surface that was slippery as hell. And as soon as I stepped on it, my feet went from underneath me, slipped, tore my lateral meniscus.
And that was in your bad knee already, too,
It was
right?
already on my bad knee. So that pretty much ended my career. And that was year 10. I ended up getting another year out of, playing another year, which I really didn't do much, but I was in Buffalo for a year. But that pretty much ended my career because I was already, again, it was already the knee that I had been through a lot of injuries with. And then going through that situation of slipping and falling and tearing it again, I kind of knew, and I'll never forget, I was sitting in the locker room when, the doctors, we went and got x-rays and they were like, yeah, it's probably something torn. I remember that at that moment, I was like, yeah, I think my career is probably over. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just, I'm already in year 10,
Yep.
and I'm playing running back.
Yep.
They're already trying to replace me. It was tough going through that. Nobody wants to end their career like that.
Right.
You want to walk out on your own terms. But, unfortunately, it didn't end like that for me. But, I went through a lawsuit with the Rams, and, we won the lawsuit.
Congratulations.
So,
yeah, that's crazy.
Yep.
That's kind of a hard way to go out.
It is.
Not on your terms.
Yeah.
Your transition, post-career, you transitioned into media.
Yep.
What got you into that, and how have you enjoyed that?
I always knew that, doing TV, some kind of form of being an analyst, broadcasting was going to be the next easiest transition for me. And, I wanted to do it until I figured out, what was going to be that next big thing for me. Because, again, I had to get a job, I had to pay some bills and take care of my family still. And so I had a lot of relationships that I built while I was playing football. And so I would go into Fox, NFL Network, some of these other networks, and I would do shows. But yeah, so the transition for me, I always knew that I was going to step right into, doing some kind of TV work, whether that was being an analyst or whatever that is. And so, I would do shows while I was playing to try to build those relationships early on. So that way, once I retired, I already had a relationship. I was already locked in. I already had my people. And so I stepped right into NFL Network. And so I started doing NFL Network. I think I did that for about 3-4 years. I did Thursday Night Football with Smitty and with Irv for about 2 years, so that was fun. And I transitioned from there over to Fox, where we're doing a college football show, Big Noon Kickoff. And I enjoyed that. I really enjoyed, and I didn't think I was gonna like it because, when Fox initially came to me, I was like, why would I go back to college football? You know what I'm saying? After everything I've been through, why would I step back into this environment where, there's a ton of just pain and trauma.
For real.
And they convinced me, to do it, and they wanted to build a show around me, which, gave me some confidence. And, we did it for a couple years. We got to the point to where, our ratings were competing with ESPN Game Days, College Game Day. And when you think about that, College Game Day is the godfather of all of this. When we talk about college football, college basketball, they basically created it.
Yep. And
so for us to be able to compete with those numbers in our first 3-4 years of inception was great and was big.
Yeah.
And so since I've stepped away from it because I wanted to focus on my own projects. And one of those projects is the documentary, also this lawsuit, with the NCAA. I wanted to go back and get my Heisman Trophy. And I just had things that I needed to go get done. And I felt like if I didn't put the time and the focus and the effort into it, then it wasn't going to get done. Or it would just get drug out another, 5 to 10 years. And so that's kind of where I'm at right now, man. It's just working on my own projects and things that, I want to do.
Talk to us how you picked up golf and how much you're enjoying that.
Man, golf has really helped me in a lot of ways because, again, I can't play football at a high level anymore. I don't really have that arena where I can go compete anymore. But there's competition on the golf course, right? And you host your own charity golf tournament every year, and you understand what it's like to hit that perfect golf shot, right? When you hit that one good golf shot,
it only takes one. A
only
whole
takes
day
one.
of bad ones, it takes that one.
And it just captures you, And so I found the sport, through my teammates. We were playing, competing, talking trash, betting money, and it right away captured me. And I think there's also something about being on the grass too, for me to just, it speaks to me. It speaks to my spirit. And so golf has really given me something to, I always feel like when we retire, from our sports, we go through this period of, who am I now? What am I going to be? What am I going to do now? I'm still young enough to be an athlete, but
got your whole life ahead of you.
But I can't play that sport anymore. And so golf has really given me the opportunity to be that athlete still. And so I play a lot of golf. I train my kids. I coach them in golf. We have our days per week. Every Tuesday we go out and golf. We'll go to Balboa Golf Course and just mess around and play golf. But it's been amazing. It really has. It's been amazing for me.
Talk to us about what you're wearing, this partnership.
Yeah, man.
And by the way, I'm an XL, but go ahead.
I got you.
Yep, XL too.
So, we're talking about golf and my passion, my love for golf. And, I've been focused on building a lot of business in golf. And one of those is in the fashion industry. And so I got a chance to link up with Travis Matthew, which is a brand that's focused in golf. And I think, it organically started from there. They have a love and a passion for golf, and so do I. And I saw a space where I felt like I can offer, some design. I want to be able to design my own clothes and design, my own golf clothing. And so Travis Matthew gave me that opportunity. And it's been awesome, man, so far. So this jacket has been one of the top sellers for him right now for Travis Matthew. We designed this, you see, and my whole goal, with our outfits is to design outfits. And so I want to take all the thinking out of it for you. You see, we got the jacket, the pants. There's also a hat to match. We got a shirt to match it.
That's the type of guy I am, too.
Exactly.
Top to bottom.
Men
may not play for shit, but you gonna look good.
When we go shopping, we want simplicity. Right? We don't want to be there for 3 or 4 hours looking around. My wife like doing that. She likes shopping and being there for hours. I want to go in there, I see outfit. Let me get that right there, and I'm done. And really, it's taking that mindset of, let's simplify this thing, for men, and especially guys on the golf course. We should also want to look good on the golf course as well, right? And I see too many guys that look horrible on a golf course, no style, no fashion, no sense of nothing, no swag. And I want to build that, man. And so I felt like that was a space where I could create. And so this is the first drop. We got some new fire stuff coming out though in September. I'm gonna make sure I get all y'all sizes and y'all packages.
I live on the golf course, the 18th hole, so I need it.
Yes, sir.
Don't even play. But you live on that.
I look good out there.
But also too, obviously something you may not want to touch on, but the obvious thing is just the explosion in black golf again.
Yes.
And kind of crossing that brand over into that genre.
Yes, man.
You know what I mean? So that's huge.
That's huge. You see so many athletes, right? Football, basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer. Athletes playing golf at a high level. I play in the American Century golf tournament every year in Lake Tahoe, and that one is filled with just
who's who,
right? The top of retired to current, athletes. Steph Curry played lights out last year. This guy hit a hole in one. I couldn't.
And he had that crazy ass putt that went up and came down.
And seeing, guys like that, guys like him, Michael Jordan, was probably one of the first, big name athletes to really step into golf.
Go play 36 before a game.
Exactly. That's crazy.
That's nuts, bro.
That's crazy to go play 36 holes before basketball.
Drink beer.
Smoke cigars.
Stop at McDonald's.
That's
40. That's crazy.
And go ball out.
Only MJ. What's your handicap right now?
I'm down to a 4.5 right now.
Shit, so that's serious. That's
I'm working. I'm working on it. I want to get down to a scratch. That's my goal. And again, I want to, like you said, there's more, black athletes and people of color that are playing golf now more than ever. More than ever, golf is at its peak as far as the amount of people that are playing the sport. Even since COVID, the number went up even more because of that time period when we were forced to social distance, and golf was the only sport you really could social distance. You know what I'm saying? You can get out, you can be away from people, you hit your shot. You know what I'm saying? And so we've seen the sport really grow over these last few years, and I just love the fact that there's so much more of us on the golf course, because we play golf different. We talk shit. We bet money.
Music loud.
We're gonna let you know. We're gonna let you know if you hit a bad shot.
We're gonna have some weed out there with us. It's not gonna be cigars.
We're gonna have fun. You know what I'm saying?
That's the deal.
And that's what I love about our culture and the way that we do golf is
we do everything different.
We do everything
with
different.
More style.
Yeah, we do. We bring style to it. So that's all I want to do, man. I want to bring some style to the golf.
I love it. I love it. Quick hitters, man. First thing to come to mind. Let us know.
Okay.
Top 5 running backs in the NFL right now.
Ooh. All right, so I'll start with Christian McCaffrey.
Okay.
Let's start with him. He's balling out right now.
Bang, Niner gang.
See, I think Saquon's gonna ball out this year.
I'm scared.
I do. I think with the Philadelphia Eagles this year, I think Saquon's gonna have a year because you match him up with a dual threat quarterback like Jalen Hurts, and that's just gonna open up everything.
Can't feel the box on him no more.
3, I'm gonna say Jonathan Taylor, and this is, I don't know if I don't have a particular order. I'm just naming the running backs, but Jonathan Taylor, young guy I got to know when I was doing the college football show. Got to interview him earlier. I watched him a lot in college, and I loved his run game. I loved how physical he plays the game, how decisive he is as a running back. Is one cut and he's getting up the field.
For the Colts?
For the Colts, yep, Jonathan Taylor. So he's another good one. Josh Jacobs with the Oakland Raiders.
I like Josh Jacobs.
The Las Vegas Raiders.
Las Vegas Raiders.
The Las Vegas Raiders. But yeah, Josh Jacobs is a beast, man. But he's in Green Bay now?
Josh Jacobs?
Yeah, he's in Green Bay now. So he's in Green Bay now. So I'm interested to see how that plays out for him in Green Bay.
Yeah. Jones went to Detroit.
There's another one too, a bigger one. It was Jones and a bigger dude.
Yeah, it was
maybe light skin.
Oh yeah, light skinned guy. Yeah, I know you're talking about.
How many is that? 4?
Yep.
4. Josh Jacobs, Colts, Christian McCaffrey. I said Saquon. I think Derrick Henry's gonna have a year this year, bro.
I think so too.
I really do. With
that's gonna be scary.
And he's got something that he's never had before. With Lamar Jackson, and Lamar Jackson, he's used to having a good run game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's used to having good run backs, but Derrick Henry is a different beast. He's a different breed, bro. And you give him that kind of space. That again, they play in space.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. One linebacker is not gonna stop him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So. It's going to be pick your poison, and I love seeing him team up with Lamar Jackson. So those are my top running backs that I think are going to play well this year.
One album, no skips.
Oh, damn. Okay, that's hard, bro. One album, no skips.
Yeah.
I got to take it back to Pac.
Thank you.
I got to take it back to Pac. If I'm going to go one album, no skips.
Easy call.
It's got to be a Pac.
Easy call.
What's your guilty pleasure?
Okay. The strawberry ice cream.
Strawberry ice cream.
First of all, I wasn't a big sweets guy, but I don't know if it's like when you get older and it just somehow hits you at a certain age.
They're easy to get to.
Or maybe
They're easy to get to.
maybe he wasn't eating them as much.
I've been smashing this strawberry ice cream from oh my God, what's this spot called? I can't think of the name of it right now, but it's the strawberry balsamic vinaigrette ice cream.
What?
Fire.
What?
Fire.
Really?
Is that from Salt and Straw?
Salt and Straw. See, you knew it. You go to Salt and Straw.
Strawberry
Be there.
balsamic.
Strawberry balsamic.
What? What?
You would never
Strawberry
think that.
balsamic.
Strawberry balsamic vinaigrette. Damn. It is fire.
Is it?
Salt and Straw, they mix the weirdest shit.
And it's all
They
done.
they had this ice cream.
We got to pull up there.
I'm actually kind of mad they got rid of it. They had this ice cream. It was
It's fire.
It was a strawberry ice cream with banana bread inside of it.
It sound wrong. Until
Off
you
the
have
chain.
it.
Nah, that sound right to me.
Off the
Especially
chain.
off
If one ice cream is wrong, I don't want to be right.
So this is what I do. I get the strawberry ice cream, and then I go to the grocery store and I get some banana bread, and then I mix it up with the banana bread and ice cream. That's my guilty pleasure right now.
You go see
So,
Reggie at 300 pounds. in the
I'm
next
gonna be
5
right with
years.
him. I want to pull up.
One thing you wish you were better at.
Ooh, one thing I wish I was better at. Tennis. I wish I was better at tennis because right now my daughter is a beast.
Yeah.
And I can't hang with her.
She's whipping you at
She's
11?
whooping
She's only
me right
11,
now.
bro.
She nice on the tennis
That's
court.
dope.
And, tennis is a sport I picked up with my daughter.
Okay.
I've always watched it, been a fan from a distance. But now that I started playing it, I fell in love with it. And, just the why am I drawing a blank? There's just so much that goes into the game. And swinging a tennis racket, backhand, forehand, top spin, all these different things, serving the ball.
You play pickleball at all?
No, I
You
don't
haven't
play
got a
pickleball.
pickleball?
Yeah, well, now that I'm playing tennis, I'm like,
get
I
into
don't
that.
like pickleball.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like,
Yeah.
it's like a short.
The rival.
Yeah, but ping pong,
Are you
all
nice
day.
at it?
Table tennis,
Yeah.
that's my game. We had that in the locker room everywhere I played. I'm sure y'all had it too.
I didn't play it, though.
I didn't play it.
You ain't
either.
played?
Hell no.
What? Y'all on the
A little bit of pool.
I'm not good, but I played it. I'm not good though. One guest, if you could see one guest on our show, who would it be?
But
You have to help us get your answer on the show.
Okay.
I feel like Reggie is going to be one of the guests that will help us.
Yeah, that's what I
I
said,
mean,
yeah.
but I feel like you already gonna know this dude. I feel like you gotta get on here, Snoop.
Oh, we already had
Oh, we
Snoop.
had Snoop a couple times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned a great one earlier.
He did.
Who?
Your man.
He said a couple names.
said a couple names.
You went to high school with him.
Oh, Alex?
Smith.
Yeah.
That'd be a
Yeah.
good one.
What about Matt? Get Matt on
too.
here.
Even-
Lindell.
Even PC.
PC.
Pete Carroll. PC will be dope.
Who else?
The great
I think
PC.
Alex would be good too.
You
Me,
know,
and
I think,
me and Lindell talk on DMs every once in a while. Is he still in LA?
I think he's in Denver.
Okay.
But another guy I played with, I think would be great, Calvin Johnson.
Oh yeah,
had him.
definitely.
We had him.
I can
We
help
had
you
him.
get Calvin.
We
I
had
help you
him.
get
Yeah.
CJ.
That's the
Yeah.
home.
CJ would be great. And I played
That's the home. We had him.
Calvin, in my opinion, he's the best receiver I ever played with.
Yeah.
But you see this dude play in person. He's same height as you guys, but he runs a 4.3,
Yeah.
4.4.
Monster.
And when he jumps for the football,
Stupid.
ain't nobody
That ain't
jumping.
fair.
I mean, we played one game against the Bengals, and hopefully y'all can go back and look this play up. It should be on YouTube or something like that. Stafford, I was with the Lions. Stafford literally launched the ball up in the air. It's 3 defenders around him, 3 people around him, a safety, 2 corners. He jumps up, snagged the ball right over the top of him.
I think earlier,
And I was like-
I saw something on the gram where it was like they showed and it was like, fuck it, Calvin down there somewhere.
He's down there somewhere.
Yeah, and he just threw
He
that
down there
in.
somewhere. But playing with this dude, man, was a treat for me because, you know, I had never played with a receiver for one that big, that tall, but also that was also that athletic and that could do so many different things. You know, was fast, and was just, you know, he was, I think to this day, one of the only receivers that was literally getting double teamed off the line.
Yeah.
They was
yeah.
playing him like it was a punt.
Yep.
Double teaming him off the line.
Crazy. Yeah.
Like, that's crazy
Yeah.
to say that we're going to double team jam this
Rip.
guy. And
Get everybody else.
Yeah, and let
And it
anybody
still
else
work. And he still do his thing.
And he
too.
was off the tree.
He is a smoke.
Big time off the
That's
tree.
my dog. Big
That's our
smoke.
brother. Yes, sir. That's our dog, man.
Well, Reggie, man, we appreciate your
Yes,
time.
sir,
We're
man.
really glad that you're coming out and speaking your truths and righting the wrongs that have been done to you.
Yeah.
Because for so long, like you said, you let that shit kind of just go.
Yeah.
And we're happy to hear that things are going well with your production company we didn't mention.
Waiting
that
on
you're
the
building.
doc.
Yeah, Doc's coming. That's going to be fire.
Whenever you want to do a show,
I'm
holler at us.
going to show y'all, not on camera, but I'll show y'all the sizzle reel.
Oh, yeah.
for the
Yes,
doc.
please.
So y'all, I
That'd
want
be
y'all to
dope.
see that.
Yeah, I'm
but
ready to see it.
it's going to be fire, man.
Yeah.
All new
And for
information.
all y'all in the world, that was not Reggie on Boys in the Hood, okay? That was not him. I thought it was him for a long time. It was not Reggie. And the dude had number 5, I think, on the show.
Man, well, that's a wrap. Reggie Bush. You can catch this on the All the Smoke Productions YouTube and the DraftKings Network, man. We'll see y'all next week.